What's up, everybody? Welcome to Observe and Proceed, where I observe, then proceed to react. And it's been a sad couple day of events in Venezuela as they got hit with a 7.1 and a 7.5 earthquake that did a lot of damage to its northern coast, in particular its capital city of Caracas. A lot of destruction. They're saying about 50,000 or over 50,000 missing. They've already recovered over 1,000 dead bodies, and it's looking like a lot more because of all the people missing. So it's really sad. We're gonna get into that today, all of that about Venezuela today. I'll just like to shout out everyone that's been liking, that's been subbing. Thank you very much. If you can do that for me real quick, I'll appreciate you as well. So anyway, yeah, let's see some video of how this unfolded. Man, that's just scary. The apocalypse, straight up, bro. Man, look at that. Whole buildings collapsed. And then, for the buildings that haven't collapsed, it's like you can't even go back into them because they look like they're about to collapse. They're barely holding up. So imagine all the displaced people as well. Like there's 50,000 missing, and I'm pretty sure, there's a lot of people injured that they're not all dead. But after everything is said and done, there's going to be like hundreds of thousands of people that are homeless, bro. That's crazy. And the death toll itself is just, it's astronomical. This is one of the worst earthquakes in recent memory in like 100 years or so. And, they didn't build for earthquakes for some reason. I mean, a lot of countries haven't. I know in California, they restructured everything to be built for earthquakes. And I think most of the U.S., if not all the U.S., is structured so earthquakes won't cause this type of damage. Speaking of the U.S., man, the least they can do is send some aid, a lot of aid actually, for taking Maduro out. They're kind of in charge of the country. Man, there's probably people under those rocks. Yep. Oh man, I see a hand. Yep. That looks like a lifeless body, man, but... I pray for these people, Keep them in your prayers. No one deserves this. See, like, buildings like that are barely holding up. You can't even really go back into that. It's not safe. It ain't safe. And that's why life is so precious. One moment you can be having a great time and the next it could be over. So you got to just appreciate every moment you have. Yeah, I mean, I pray for these people. And yeah, I mean, I did hear Rubio have a press conference that the U.S. is sending aid, as they should. But yeah, that's not going to be enough when you lost family members and everything. Look, this is a little overview after everything was done. Just insane. Whole big buildings collapsed, bro. It looks like they got bombed. On the coast too. They have a pretty beautiful coast over here. Not anymore. Looks like Gaza. And there's probably a lot of, dead bodies under all that. And injured people. I pray for those, that are still alive to, for them to get recovered here. They're going to need a lot of aid. A lot of countries are stepping up, though, including the U.S. So that is a positive there. Man, everyone got bikes out there. There's a whole lot of bikes. I'm probably definitely going to donate to some relief fund here. And this is the capital too. That's the crazy part. It's main city. Yeah, let's see what they're saying.
We begin today in Venezuela, where officials say more than 900 people are dead.
Oh, there's a lot
more.
more.
3,300 are hurt after two powerful.
Okay, so let's say 3,300 and 900 dead. 3,300 that got hurt out of the 50,000 plus missing. So if you do the math on that, you're going to have at least like 15,000 or so dead. At least. Dang, bro, that's a major loss. Some countries go to war, they don't even lose that many people.
Earthquakes hit near the nation's capital on Wednesday. Now the race is on to find the estimated thousands of people who are still missing. You're looking live at those efforts right now, and all of this comes as millions in Venezuela were already facing economic instability and lack steady access to things like power and clean water. CBS News correspondent Camilo Montoyo Galvez just arrived in Venezuela and has the very latest.
We just landed here in Venezuela, which is facing one of the most catastrophic natural disasters in its modern history. Hundreds of people are presumed to be dead, thousands more are injured, and many are still desperately looking for their loved ones. We have seen officials and residents of Venezuela alike looking for survivors in the rubble, in collapsed buildings. We actually had to fly into Valencia, Venezuela's third largest city, because the main airport in Caracas was badly damaged.
Yeah, that's
by
what
the
happened in
earthquakes.
the airport,
Now
bro. There was a video too of people in the airplane where like, they're rocking back and forth. The airport's messed up, bro. The airport needs to get rebuilt now too.
To La Guaira, which has become one of the main epicenters of the dire humanitarian crisis here. Thousands of people are presumed to be missing in that coastal sector of the country alone. We're now seeing international rescue teams, including volunteers from countries like Mexico and Brazil, come here to help and assist in that search and rescue effort. In fact, during our plane ride here, we saw people from Brazil, Mexico, and other countries coming here to help in that rescue effort.
I heard the LA County Fire Department went out there too. So yeah, like I said, the U.S. owes this country. They're kind of in charge out there. It's not like, oh, we can just come in, take your oil, like take Maduro out and do nothing after that. This is where you gotta step in.
And they were applauded when they landed here in Valencia, Venezuela. That was an uplifting scene in an otherwise tragic situation. Camilo Montoya Galvez, CBS News, Venezuela.
Let's bring in CBS News correspondent Christian Benavidez joining us live from Bogota, Colombia, where relief flights are departing to help those impacted by those earthquakes. Christian, how is the international community stepping up to help Venezuela?
Well, look, it's not just Colombia. You've got countries from across the region and really around the world that are participating in this relief effort, so badly needed. You got to think about so many people that are buried underneath the rubble, so many buildings and so many crews, search and rescue crews that are needed for each building. I'll just
these big buildings
remember what
from
happened during Surfside when we had that one building collapse and we had so many rescue crews on just that one building. Now, amplify that but by so many more buildings. If you look at pictures of La Guaira, I mean, it appears as if a bomb went off. It is truly, truly heart-wrenching.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they didn't build for this. Like, we build for this out here, especially in California. Every building's required for like earthquake safety. So like if it happens, it can rock back and forth without collapsing. And these buildings, when they rock this way, the pillars, everything breaks. And yeah, they're gonna have to rebuild and restructure every building that way out there, and every other country, because I always see this type of destruction in other countries. Like they don't build for that for some reason.
Now, again, there are reports that people are still hearing those who are buried beneath the rubble speaking, and the
Man.
first 48 hours are key in being able to
That's
get
true.
people out from there alive, which is why these search and rescue teams are so important. Now, we know search and rescue crews from Spain, Chile, and the Dominican Republic that are joining this round-the-clock search. Here from Colombia, you had about 68 personnel
I could, I
that
would go out
went
there,
from
but
different search and rescue teams that were deployed to
fortunately, I
Venezuela in
can't.
order to look for survivors. So really, the race is on right now. They are really desperately looking to get to those people who are still alive, buried underneath the rubble. That is the focus now, and that is why so many countries from across the region and around the world are sending assistance, not just personnel. We know that the U.S. has also pledged $150 million in order
150
to
million.
help Venezuela rebuild. We know that
Man,
this is going
take
to
that
be
out
an
of the Ukraine
ongoing
fund
effort.
and
I mean,
the
images are
Israel
just
fund.
truly
Oh, my bad. Is
devastating. And
I
it is
meant
so
that country with an
heartbreaking
I.
to hear
Take out of their fund,
people. If
send it
you've
here.
seen the images on social media, just hear people who are still alive, buried beneath the rubble, and you just hope that these search and rescue teams can get there in time.
Yes, and those family members desperate for answers to find their loved ones. Christian Benavides,
There's a
thank
lot
you
of
so
rubble
much for
too.
that update.
What if you could make a song using only your
It's
voice? Let's start with
it's not just like couple buildings. There's a whole lot of buildings, bro. Prayers up, man. Prayers up. I'm not even gonna like read the comments, even though most people seem sympathetic here. Yeah, that's why you gotta value life. One moment you're here, the next you're not. It just happens like that so quick, you know. Anyway, guys, please like and subscribe. I'll be back. Keep it locked. I'm out.